How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. We got the community as always. Welcoming back Jordan, Lee, and obviously James back in the building. He missed the last one. He's feeling better. Are you? You good?
Yeah, enough.
Cool. He's back. He's back, people.
How's the hammy?
Yes, all right. Didn't need surgery.
Oh yeah, touch wood. We move. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It's only been 52 seconds, but make sure you do that bright and early. Let's get to 1,000 likes before the show comes to an end. We've got Leicester to talk about, a 2-0 win. Obviously, we waited for the Liverpool result as well, since that's what I said we're going to do now moving forward. And obviously, they've made it back to 7 points now. So, yeah, coming off the back of all that, it's a Sunday night. This comes out Monday morning. Big up you. Hopefully, you have a good week ahead. But, yeah, we're here to talk. 2-0 win, last 10 minutes. Merino the saviour, Nwaneri the man of the match. A couple big positives in there with those two. But how we generally feeling, James? Let's start with you because you wasn't here last time out. Obviously, the Havertz news has come and gone since. We've acclimatized to it, and Merino has stepped in for the night. Well, I say for the 90 for the game against Leicester, and helped everyone forget about the current dilemma that we're in on the attacking front. But how are you feeling generally about the situation?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know if it made me forget about the dilemma. I think it made me notice it even more because I was just sort of laughing for 2 hours on Saturday afternoon watching Merino come on and take two brilliant chances really well. They were great finishes. He took them really well. Look, I didn't. I joined you on the live Turkish on Friday night. I didn't feel that this was a game to worry about. I was sitting there going, look, yeah, we've got our problems, but Leicester haven't been great, and we're still going to field a lot of very good footballers out there. So I wasn't too worried. By minute 60, I was a bit worried. I said, it's amazing what 10 days not watching a team can do. I thought, maybe we are shit. But we're not, we're not a bad team. We're 15 games unbeaten. We haven't lost a league game since that trip to Newcastle in early November. The problem is we don't have the firepower to kill teams off. And so I think if we did, 5 of those draws, of 5 of those draws in the last 15, I think we could have won another 2-3 comfortably with a little bit more firepower. So we're looking like this is going to be another draw. We bring on Merino, which had been talked about. Let's give credit to Sam Dean. He wrote a whole piece on it in the Telegraph thing. And I thought, here we are. I mean, this is really what we've got. Merino, our 6/8 moving up front. But he did a great job. This wasn't just, sometimes you can chuck anyone up top, can't you? And they're just standing in the striker's position, ready to tap it into the back of the net. There was one lovely piece of skill that set the tone. Ødegaard slapped the ball up the pitch. He took a great touch and rolled it into Declan Rice's feet. And I thought, okay, this is like prime Olivier Giroud, this. and then Timber whipped a ball to the back post that he nearly got to. And I thought,
oh, yeah,
there might be something cooking here. And then, Ethan Nwaneri is the star, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about him, but it's his cross to the back post. And then Trossard's other cross to the back post, which makes it 2 goals, but Merino's taken them brilliantly. I have to say as well, Trossard's been doing that since December. I remember against Ipswich, his cross for Havertz's goal. Both crosses against Villa for the Havertz and Martinelli goal. I want to say against Spurs, he was tearing Porro apart. And then there's more examples that I'm forgetting, but he's been having the beating with his fullback quite a lot and delivering really good crosses into the box. And that was another one. Against Wolves, Havertz should have scored from a similar kind of cross and moment.
Oh, yeah.
So he's made that a kind of little signature move of his. And Merino tucks it away, and we found a new number 9. So, yeah, all is resolved. We're going to win the league.
Yeah, don't know about that. Maybe you're still under the weather, but yeah, get well soon. Lee, let's go to you. How was it? I heard the fans were up for it. The atmosphere was popping. Can you confirm?
Yeah, it was. It was a brilliant atmosphere. Like got up to Leicester, left London, and it was nice and dry. And got up to Leicester, and it was pouring rain, that cold rain all day long. It was you phone back home and say, "Oh, is it raining?" No, it's cold, but it's dry. You know, it was a horrible day up there. But the fans were fantastic. Really, like, I was a little bit surprised because I think a lot of fans, I don't know, I was speaking to, were all a little bit doom and gloom. I actually got up about 7 when the alarm went off. I thought, oh, I don't really fancy this. But anyway, got up there and it was really buoyant in the away end. Brilliant atmosphere in that first half. As the game went on, as the like went into 20 minutes, 25, it was a little bit quieter, and then it got a little bit. There was a lot of moaning going on and everything like that. But to be fair to the fans, they kept with it. They kept with it, even though that we was moaning and there was a lot of, oh, this don't look good. It ain't going to happen. That they kept with the team, and then when we got the goal, 10 minutes from there, I don't know if you could hear it. Just before we scored, Leicester fans were singing, you know, second again, ole, ole, ole. And I don't know if that give us that, would definitely give me the you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if the players can listen to that. I don't know if they can react to that. I don't know, but they just seem to step up a gear. To be fair, they stepped up a gear when Merino come on. For let's be honest, the first 70 minutes was a bore fest. I was so bored in that first half, and after that, it was painful. But when he come on, as you said, James, from that moment when he put in Declan Rice and Nwaneri hit the bar from that, didn't they? Post from that, we was a different team, absolutely different team. Really like the last 20 minutes of the game, we sort of forgot about the 70 minutes that had gone before it. But the fact of the matter is, Leicester are a poor side. You got to, dismember teams like that, and we done it in the end. I don't think they ever looked like scoring, and then like that mistake from Partey and brilliant bit of defending from Miles Lewis-Skelly at the back. And I think that was also a changing point, boys. And
that was a wake up call. Yeah.
Say again.
That was a wake up call. I think that Lewis-Skelly.
Well, maybe. I just think that we was from that moment. It was brilliant when we got the goal. There was only one winner then, weren't there? And I have to say, 2 class finishes. I didn't realise, the second one, by the way, is an absolute, if Ian Wright gets that, or Henry or Bergkamp, we'll all be going, oh, what a great finish. That was a terrific finish. The first one's just easy chance set up from Nwaneri, but he still got to finish it. Finished his 2 goals really well. But the atmosphere in there was really good, and do you know what? I think we needed something like that because I think we're all a little bit doom gloom. We don't think we're going to win, but all of a sudden we've got hope that Mikel now can become like a Van Persie or an Henry for a couple of months and take us over the line. I don't know, but he took his 2 goals really well and played well. I thought he really. And the good thing about it, as you said there, James, Trossard, oh my God, he was atrocious. But as soon as he went out wide left, different player, lively. So that position that when Havertz plays there and now Merino, it does bring in other players to play well. But in saying that, Nwaneri just played well all the way through. But it was that last 20 minutes, the stadium was buzzing. It was a good atmosphere in there yesterday. A little bit better than what I thought it would be, to be fair, guys.
Yeah, I saw it in the chat. Obviously, I was on the watch along, and I remember the chat was mentioning the crowd were up for it. Jordan, I ain't talked to you yet. Well, I don't think anyone has about the game, but how you feeling about it?
Yeah, good. What are you not laughing for? Yeah, good, bro. Good. Good 3 points. I agree with the boys. I think for the best part of an hour, wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. But Merino was the difference. I slightly kind of want to just dial down the kind of 2 great finishes chat. I mean, the back post, it's a clean header in the bottom corner. I'd expect him to score that. And the second one, it requires him to kind of strike it with the right foot, the left foot. Right as incorrect, left foot. But it is a side foot from 4 or 5 yards out. I think his general play was worthy of praise. So the 2 goals obviously won us the game. But I thought his general play, he picked up that kind of centre forward role quite well. I thought that impressed me more than the finishes. He knew where to be. He seemed to kind of, his coordination for someone that's not a striker, I thought was pretty impressive. But no, big 3 points. just get the job done now, man. I gave a bit of a speech, it wasn't intended, a rousing speech after the Wolves game, which was to the boys. Maybe it was actually to myself, really. But just from here on in, we just got to fight. We just got to fight, man. We got 13 games left. Is it 13 games left? I think it's 13 games left.
Yeah.
We just got to win every game. You know, I think if for those that still feel there's a title chance of winning the league, I think of the 13, they've got to win at least 11, maybe even 12. And hope obviously Liverpool drop points, which I'm sure they will. We just got to fight now, man. I don't want to hear any excuses about injuries. So just get on with it. And I like the fact that the boys just kind of, it wasn't going well for the best part of an hour. But you know, when Merino came on, he did what he did, and we got the 3 points. We keep it moving. We just got to keep the pressure on Liverpool for as long as possible. That's all we can do. Just keep the pressure on, game by game, win our games, and see where it takes us. And hopefully, we get a couple of players back in the next couple of months or the next month. Maybe Martinelli, Ben White was on the bench, so if we can get close to our first 4-11 and kind of just beef up the squad again. Let's see where we are. But good win. Get the job done. Let's just fight. I want the boys to now just show me. I want the boys to be angry. Do you know what I mean? The season's not gone great, but we're still second. Let's get angry. Let's West Ham dispatch. I think after West Ham, is it United?
Forest.
And then United.
Forest. Yeah, man. Let's just go into these games now, saying, you know what, we've had a bit of bad luck. We've done some things ourselves that haven't helped ourselves. Let's just get on with it. Let's just fight. Every game now, we're going to leave it all on the pitch and see where it takes us.
It's been. I mean, what a season! when you just how are we here talking about up front scoring 2 goals that won us the game at Leicester? I mean, if I just reflect on all of it, the league campaign has largely been so disappointing, yet we're still second. It's been so disappointing, yet the Champions League was a bit of a walk for us. We did really well there. We've had 4 red cards, 3 of them are hilarious. We've had injuries, but all in 2 positions. You know, we lost Erdegaard for 2 months. We lost Saka for however long. Now other players are dropping like flies. Do we really need to sign someone in January? We don't. And then Merino comes on and does this. Then we get to a cup semi-final thinking, okay, Newcastle's the team we want. And then we go out 4-0 on aggregate. So what is this season?
It's been a bonkers season.
It's just been mad, hasn't it? I can't really, look out to Man United on penalties against 10 men. The whole thing's just been weird.
It has been bizarre. Weird. You're right to kind of summarize it in that way. It has been bizarre, but I liked Mikel Arteta's words in the post-match press conference. He was just talking about similar to just get on with it now. We just got no excuses. We won the game. It wasn't pretty. We've just got to we can't be, dwelling in the fact that we've had a little bit of misfortune. We've done a few things wrong, a few injuries. We just got to get on with it now. I like that attitude of let's just fight now. Do you know what I mean? Every game now, let's just go in there, give it our all, and push to the season. There's no time for feeling sorry for ourselves. There's no time for looking back at what's gone wrong. The transfer window's come and gone now. We've got what we got. I just think we've got to kind of crack on with it now. I will just say one thing, and I don't mention this to start a discussion or a pile on Raheem Sterling, but I will. He wasn't good again. I think we can acknowledge that, and he'll move on in the summer, whatever. But it is bad now that he genuinely is a probably victim of starting up front, and Merino will probably start ahead of him. I think there's another thing that could have gone wrong for him is the fact that a midfielder now is looking like a better attacker than he is. He's having a shock of a season. We've discussed the wrongs and rights of signing him, but when he left the field, I think he left the field looking embarrassed. I think he knew he wasn't great. I think he was offside 5 times in that first half alone. It wasn't a good performance. And then Merino comes off the bench and in 20 minutes does more than you've probably done all season. Let's be frank up front. I think that was a sad indictment of his contribution to our football club. But let's look at the positive. Merino's our new number 9. Let's run with it until it doesn't work anymore.
I don't think we'll be running long. I don't think we'll be running long, but
maybe not.
We'll find that.
You got to be got the job by that though, Turkish. That 20 minutes.
Say that again?
You must. I actually thought. I see signs of it and thought, it did look all right out there. I have to say, I have to say, I thought his hold-up play was really, really good. He's on the end of 2 crosses which he scored from, and the other one, as you say, was an inch away from tapping that in. You know, so he was all in the right places. Everything that he'd done was correct. So I you know, I know what you're saying. It's a little bit, I don't know, but for that 20 minutes, it was very impressive, I have to say.
No, he done his thing in the 20 minutes. He deserves all the praise. For me, he was man of the match. I know Nwaneri over the 90 deserves it, but for me, he came on and made the big difference, which is finishing. As much as Nwaneri made the first goal, but I think either or worthy of man of the match. So he deserves all the praise. You know, we've stumbled across something, but yeah, I mean, we've got bigger tests to come. He's come on against a tired Leicester side in the last 20 minutes, and you know, had his way with them in essence. Whereas I'm not looking at West Ham too much, considering how Graham Potter's kind of had a manager bounce since going in. So that one we should be able to maneuver through confidently, semi-confidently. It's the away games back to back, Forest and United. That's the ones I'm looking at and hoping that. Listen, I want Merino to start against West Ham, grab a couple more goals if possible. That'd be nice, and go into those games as confident as possible up top. Maybe finding something different in himself. But essentially, it's Liverpool.
Hilarious.
I mean, Jordan talks about applying the pressure on Liverpool. Liverpool have made it 7 again since, and they actually have a chance to make it 10 before we play again. So really, they've got a chance to increase the pressure upon us before the West Ham game, because who they're playing?
They're playing Aston Villa on Wednesday away, and then Manchester City away. So
2 difficult away games.
I know it feels like every week we go, defining week. This can swing from, they put 6 more points on the board against City and Villa. They've got that extra game, which is Villa. So you're right. They could basically, whatever we do against West Ham, we could find ourselves 10 points behind Liverpool with 12 games to go. And that will feel pretty gut-wrenching. But the complete flip side is, let's not even say they lose both. Let's say they draw at Villa Park and lose against City. The flip is that they end the game at the Etihad with us having beaten West Ham, and we're 5 points behind them with a game in hand for us, so potentially 2. I mean, this could just swing it's just such a drastic one into the other, where we could be this time in 1 week.
We've been teetering on the edge for a long time now, in terms of, how it's within touching distance, but still not enough to really be confident about it. It's been there or thereabouts since about mid-December. But you lot are right looking at this week, because Aston Villa away and Man City away. I don't expect Liverpool to win both of them, if I'm honest with you. I just don't expect them to win both. But then I expected City to drop points in the last 7-8 games of last season, and they didn't. So what
can I say that I do? I think they'll win both.
You think they'll win
if they
both?
do, man, give them the title. That would be extraordinary. That's handling pressure, because you're wondering whether the pressure was maybe starting to mount with the late Everton equaliser, and then Wolves second half really stuck it on Liverpool. But I mean, if they come through those 2 away games, my only worry is that Unai Emery will do Unai Emery and basically rotate his whole team for no reason. But I'm only saying it because he did it at the Etihad last year, but also there was other reasons. I think this is a huge week for Liverpool, and it's weird because I feel like the 7-point gap, for the way we've played and the way they've played, part of me is so disappointed that it's 7 points. I'm like, that's so far in mid-Feb. That's so annoying. And then the other part of me is like, but they've been so good. And we have just it feels like every 3 games we've had a bad result. It almost feels like it should be more. Is it just me in a weird way? Like the way this season has felt, I'm like, I can't believe we're even still remotely discussing it. Well, you never know. We could.
It does. It does. I'm with you. I think it's because the expectation of what we all thought it should have been or should look like at this stage of the season, going into the season, I think. And then when you couple that up with Man City doing what they've done, it just feels weird. Because you are right. You look and it's, like I said, within touching distance. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like we are done, dusted, 10 points away, and they can win it over the next few weeks. But that isn't the case, but it can be the case if we don't, continue doing our job from here. But yeah, I think Merino deserves a lot of credit. Me and Lee talked about in the preview, same profiles, Havertz, so can do similar things. The team are used to training in that manner, in that way. And I think now's the time to bring in Nwaneri, because I'm someone who said don't rely on him going into this season. I still think that's the case moving forward, but I do think it's a nice stretch of games for him. If you take away the noise from the situation, I'm an Arsenal fan, not a Nwaneri fan, right? But first and foremost, obviously I'm a fan of Ethan, but I'm an Arsenal fan. If you take out all of that noise, it's a good stretch of games for him to kind of freely get into, where there's pressure on him, but there's not pressure on him, because we already know there's something there in him. So he could have an inconsistent 10 games to see out the season. The fans are behind him, and we've seen enough to know there's a player. So I think for him in isolation, regardless of his minutes coming because the team are in a dire position up front, I want to see more of that. He's so Lewis Skelly. I've talked about him before this season, how mature he is. I think Nwaneri is the same. The way he deals, the way he handles himself on the pitch, deals with the ball, deals with himself without the ball, positionally, structurally. Like he's just doing all the right things at this moment in time. And to know we've got a couple of those still coming through, still protect, but it's also this season. If someone asked me come end of the season and we don't win anything, what are the positives of this season? Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly would be 1 and 2, or both 1.
Yeah. The good thing about Nwaneri now is that he ain't got the worry. I know it sounds silly. He might do when Martinelli comes back. I don't know. But for the next three games, he knows he's starting. With Miles Lewis Skelly, Calafiori come on and just showed what good player he was yesterday, by the way, coming forward. So love the way he smashed that player all over the place, and then drove forward for the goal, picked the pass at the right time. So we
don't condone violence on this podcast here. Just no,
it was just a nice crunching tackle, something like you don't see no more these days. And long they should come back. But no, I think that he's got a little run of it now where he knows he's going to start every game. And we were talking about this at Football Today, he's better than Saka, isn't he, at 17? Saka wasn't doing what he's doing. The singing we give him is unreal. Saka, Saka's turned into an unbelievable player, but Saka weren't doing this at 17. I think one of my mates turned around and said, I think he was playing left back at maybe on a few occasions 17. Listen, Saka was fantastic, don't get me wrong. But I haven't seen nothing like this, what I see yesterday. Every time he got the ball, I don't know if you guys sense it on TV or whatever, there was a buzz around the stadium. Like, as soon as he gets the ball like that, something's going to happen. And I don't actually look at him as 17. I don't know if you do or not. I just think that he's just a proper footballer now. And I'll tell you some of the things that he does, boys. He makes the right decisions as well. His decision making is really, really good. He knows when to go on the outside. He knows when to go on the inside. Knows when to pop it off. He knows when and where to take on the fullback, and he does it with pace. He gets back into shape very, very well. I can't really speak highly enough of what I see yesterday.
What is it? Because Lee, you just said something. You said it doesn't feel like you're watching a 17-year-old, and I agree with that. But then I think back and I think when I watched Fabregas, it felt, and Fabregas is a different level of player we're talking about now in terms of what he accomplished. But if it did feel like I was watching a youngster in Fabregas, it did feel like I was watching a youngster in Wilshere. Is it because they came into teams with experienced players in their late 20s, early 30s, whereas we've kind of grown with this team through their young era, so they all kind of still feel very young to us in terms of Saka still feels very young. He is young. Like, or is it because Nwaneri is that good?
It's a great point. I don't know. When we was still a very, very, we was a title winning side when Fabregas come into it. Like, I have to say, when Fabregas come in, that was something that was a one-off. You're not asking Nwaneri at this moment in time to control midfields and control games. He controlled games of football in the Premier League at 16. Controlled them. You dictated games. which you're asking like Odegaard to do now at 24, 25, and he just done it on a regular basis. One-off class player. With Nwaneri is a little bit different, but I just don't look at. I can't explain it. I look at him yesterday, and I'm just he's physically very, very strong. He doesn't get knocked off the ball easy or whatever. Like a couple of times he's going to, he gets ushered out of play a couple of times yesterday, but that can happen. I just see him, and I just think like if he does a wrong thing, I'd be shocked by it. Like if he put a cross in that went out for a goal kick or something, he doesn't do that. I just think he's a fantastic footballer. The more I watch him, the more and more impressive. And I thought yesterday that, don't get me wrong, Arsenal were lacking something, but not from him. Not from him. He was the one shining light for me. I always, and we were talking. I said, look, we will get a chance, and it'll be him that'll make it. And if you go back to that one that hit the post, that's on his right foot. Power of it. Like beat the goalkeeper.
Everything.
Yeah, unbelievable.
See, I find this chat really interesting because I don't want to piss on your chips, Lee, and the reason why I find it interesting is because
we always do. So might as well carry on.
I don't mean to. It's just
all the fishing on me chips and all. It's a bit out of order,
I've never heard that saying before, but fair enough.
Yeah, I'll be furious.
Nwaneri is clearly a talent. Stevie Wonder can see that the guy is like he's got talent, but I'm not. I might have this one wrong, and I'm prepared to kind of totally be correct on this one in the months to come. I'm not quite where the rest of the fan base I feel are with Nwaneri. The way the fans talk about Nwaneri is if like he's a wonder kid. And I'm not quite there. He's got talent. I think you're right, Lee. I think his strength is he's not, you can't barge him off the ball. His decision making, which I think is the most important thing for a young player in particular, is very, very good. I just find it interesting hearing the fan base talk about him the way they do, because I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. The guy, I don't want people to think that I'm not saying the guy, I'm not excited about him. He's not a brilliant talent. But you mentioned Fabregas there, Turkey, which is interesting because he was in that kind of group of youngsters since I've been watching football that when I watched Fabregas, I was like, oh, this guy is the guy.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I felt Wayne Rooney, when you saw Rooney at City, you thought, this guy, you just knew. And the fan base I hear talking about Nwaneri is kind of in that vein. And they may be right. I'm not saying that I'm right on this one. They may be right. But I'm just not, when I hear them talking about Nwaneri, I think I'm missing something. I'm not quite there yet. In a way, I think Lewis Skelly of the two, I've said before, I think his ceiling is higher than Nwaneri. They both may go on to have amazing careers, and I hope they do at Arsenal, of course. But I just feel like when I hear the fan base chat about Nwaneri, for some reason, and I'm happy to be, to be checked on this, I'm not quite there just yet. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's my point.
Fabregas Rooney were, in terms of when you said he's not a wonder kid, in my head I'm ready to argue with you. Then you mentioned Fabregas Rooney, and yes, that's a different level. But he's 17, and every opportunity he's had, he's shown something. And I think yesterday against Leicester, that right-footed shot, for example, the confidence to just step over and go on his right foot, let alone produce a sweet strike like he did, I look at it and think, okay, 17. I got to keep on reminding myself, 17. This guy's 17. The one where we won it back, went into Odegaard. I won't say through ball. It was a pass into Nwaneri. He cuts in. He probably should have slotted it to Trossard. He would have been one-on-one with the keeper, but he goes for it outside of the box, hits the top of the bar. I've seen certain things with Nwaneri, and then his goal against, I think it was Preston or Bolton, where he just curls it into the top corner. He scored in the Champion. I've seen bits from him where I'm like, yeah, the more game time you get, the more you're going to show, because I don't think he turns 18. I think he turns 18 next month, actually, March. But to see what we've seen at 17, I'm like, oh, all right.
Can I ask you a question? I'll ask all three of you a question. I don't particularly love him central. I think he's much better when he's wide, right? That Saka spot, we all agree on that. Do we think it's a good thing that looking forward to next season now, he will be Saka's understudy and he'll probably play the Carling Cup games. He'll come on. He'll in theory be the guy that gives Saka a rest and he'll get minutes that way? Or do we think for development, actually, he needs to now be playing regular football? That you can't go back now to being the young kid. He's asserted himself now as like a first team player, but obviously we know that he won't be because that's Saka spot.
I
Do
still
you know
like
what I
him
mean?
central, if I'm honest with you. I still see him
Okay.
central. I still see him maybe as a 10 with Odegaard the 8, but we're never going to see that because Odegaard never been tested in the 8. But I think because of the way he drives with the ball, and listen, I think Declan Rice drives well with the ball in midfield and in a very different way. He's a powerful runner. Whereas Nwaneri, I think I could see him just kind of, opening teams up, working well with Saka on that side, working well with Odegaard to his left. I don't know. I see him more as a central player because he's confident to jink in, jink out. It's not like an Odegaard where Odegaard ain't confident to go on his right on the best of days. Whereas Nwaneri is. He's very 2 foot. Well, I won't say 2-footed yet because that's when you look at Cazorla, for example, that's really 2-footed. But to show that confidence at that young age to just freely go on that side, it looks good.
Well, hopefully we look after him a bit like City did with Foden, where had all these talented players and he could come in and out in a few positions. So does Nwaneri next season have to be starting either right 8 or right wing or false 9? Can he just play all of them at different times, depending on the opposition? I think there'll be some games where I'd love to have Odegaard and Nwaneri together central. There'll be some games where I'm thinking, yeah, get Saka and Nwaneri down on that right together, and just both of them just, trying to break a team down or, sorry?
Cook.
Yeah, that's what the youngsters say.
And the risk of, upsetting Arsenal fans like Ian Wright apparently did in the summer, could one of them play on the left, Saka or Nwaneri? Why not? I mean, the best attackers have always moved across various areas of that front three and had lots of joy. So I don't know. I think Nwaneri, Jack Wilshere was Jack Wilshere, Bukayo Saka, Nwaneri. Those are the three since I was a bit too young when Fabregas broke through. I saw Fabregas at 19 more so, and just doing bits for Arsenal then from around 2006-07 onwards. But yeah, those are the three youngsters that I sort of have been so blown away by. And I think Nwaneri's as good as any youngster I've personally watched come through. And where his future is just a great problem. But hopefully it's one that if we do our squad building right, we don't have to cement him into one position from next season. We can use him in lots of different areas and still get to know the player, because I think at 22, 23, he might well be a very different player to the one we see today, because players mature and change, and maybe there's an injury, or maybe as you grow. Kai Havertz is such a great example of this. And then when Kai Havertz came through, he was seen as like a 10/second striker. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be talking out my arse here, I know, but I don't know if he was as tall when he was an 18, 19-year-old coming through. I think, having that bit of a growth spurt or whatever, he sort of had to, you're kind of a striker when you've got that frame, and you're not really the creative type. Maybe you don't move quite as well as when you're younger. I don't know. Again, I could be talking nonsense. I'm just sort of trying to remember what I knew of Havertz as a young player. So, how does Nwaneri grow and develop? I don't know. Does he beef up? Maybe he's the perfect central midfielder. Maybe he's the perfect left 8 and he'll be more of a David Silva type. Maybe I've always thought that he's got Coutinho-isms in him. And I always thought Coutinho was so great in a free role off, in the front three. So I just think the sky's the limit. But the worst thing Arsenal could do is build next season around him. It's just build the team the way you want to build it. And then he will come in and he will be class wherever you use him. He might be a false 9. I know you want the 9 Turkish, but he might, he might be in a couple, yeah. But in a few years, he might be. I mean, he's got everything for that position too. So let's not. I don't want the club to put everything on him. That would be very irresponsible.
It'd be very the club as well, but yeah.
Well, no, very the club would be the Athletic reporting that we're really happy with Mikel Merino's adaptation to the 9 position, and we're not going to waste money on a forward unless they definitely upgrade that position, because Mikel Merino's done so well, scoring 12 goals in the title run-in as we finish second.
That is also very the club. Yeah, you've
we
done
all
well,
see
James.
Just last thing on from me on Nwaneri as well. One thing I love though about Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly is they're both really confident, but in opposite ways. So you got Mars Lewis Skelly that's like calling it on, calling out Haaland. He's mocking the celebration. He's a little I can see opposition fans over the next year or two really hating him. He's got that kind of guy. I think he'll wind up a lot of opposition fans. I can see that in him, but he's got the confidence to be like, you know what, let's go. And then you got Nwaneri, who's the complete opposite. He's like his facial. I've seen him smile once. In like 5 or 6 games. He's just very poker face. He doesn't react to the fans. He doesn't get involved in other stuff. But that in of itself is a confidence. I'm just doing my job. I know how good I am. I'm going to get the job done. So I just love that we've got 2 brilliant talents in our 11 from Hayland, but characteristically very, very different. I love that.
Turkish, you asked what makes him look mature already or whatever. And I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what makes a player look more raw. Maybe it's decision making. I think often you can see talent and then they get the decisions wrong, but you're willing to put up with it because they're doing magical things with the football half the time. But Nwaneri, you mentioned that chance, that shot that skimmed the crossbar where he cut inside. He probably should have laid it off the Trossard or someone. I was kind of in awe, and it's so silly. It just shows you where this Arsenal squad is. I was in awe of him kind of getting that shot away with quite little backlift.
Yeah,
quite a lot of pace and directness, and the ball's always traveling up. There's very little backlift, and I'm used to our players like winding up like Beyblades, just putting everything into every shot.
Yeah,
and this guy just makes it look quite easy. And every time he took on the fullback, basically either the fullback is absolutely shite, or he's a Premier League fullback and he's a decent level, and Nwaneri was just cooking him quite a few times, which he did. Like every time he went to go down the line, it didn't look like he had to do anything magnificent. He wasn't pulling out the most unbelievable mercurial trickery. It was really good. Like, right, I'm facing you up, I'm dropping the shoulder, I'm going. And he just made it look easy. And I think that's not only is the decision right, but it doesn't look like he's really forcing himself too much to do it. It's quite effortless for the guy. And I don't know, did you see his reaction when Merino scored from his cross?
Yeah.
Just sort of like
looked over, he pointed at him like,
it's just like this. Yeah, you're right to mention the two of them, Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri, where they might differ. With Nwaneri, there's this like he knows how good he is.
Yeah,
Lewis Skelly does.
It's inner confidence, isn't it?
He knows he's a good player. He knows
he's a very good player.
His goal against Verona was the same.
Take on fullbacks and beat them. The one great thing about it is that when he cut, the defenders, coaches be saying, don't let him cut on his left foot because you know what he can do. And then so they're setting up for that, and he then goes past them on the flank. So I just get that feeling that even when I was fortunate enough to meet him in America, and he just knows he's good. I actually turned around to Julian yesterday and just said to him, "Oh, I wish I was as good as that." You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he's 17 years of age, and he's just got the world. You know what I mean? I don't know how good he's going to be, but he knows he's good. And don't forget, he's been told this since he was 10, 11. You're this, and this. He hasn't got an ego or nothing like that. He's just, he's been well grounded by the club and probably good family around him. But it's just like, Did you see in the first half?
Did you see in the first half when he got the ball? I think there was a pass slightly behind him, and 2 Leicester players were either side of him. And I just thought, you're gonna have to turn back, mate. So a split second thought. You're gonna have to turn back, and he just flicked the ball in between both of them, and on he went.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I hope that's something
that he's own off.
I hope that's something that's not coached out of him, though.
No, we were saying that. That's one thing that hopefully won't happen. I'd be very disappointed if it is.
Yeah.
He's a maverick. He's a maverick, but he still played in the structure of the team yesterday. I think that's important to think. He didn't. He's not one of these blokes who just stands up there. Kid stands up there. He gets back. He puts the shift in. He gets back into position. But I do hope that when he's got the ball, they just say, "You go and express yourself. Go and do what you got to do." Because I just thought it was wonderful what I see in him yesterday.
Do you think he'll be given the number 10?
Oh,
but I know Turkish is up there like a kettle boiling, but I mean, because all jokes aside, Turkish, I wouldn't give it to him. I just think
not at the moment.
Develop, man. You're making him like the face of the project, like 1 year into senior football. If you give him the 10, and we could afford to do that when we didn't have Champions League football, and it was Smith Rowe and Saka, and they threw it together and all that. But I would not give that number out and maybe keep that for him for in a couple of years. But I don't know if I'd give it to him. I don't know. It's a lot of pressure. These numbers, they matter. Everyone likes to tell us they don't matter, but I think
I'll
they
take
do
Verts,
matter.
please. I'll take Verts.
Yeah, give
Number
him the 10.
And let Nwaneri, chill, learn, look up and think, that's what I'm gonna be.
But do you guys think he'll get the 10 next season?
This club, bro. They're
they're
waiting, bro. They're waiting to give it.
Listen,
Lewis Skelly number 3 then, yeah? Lewis
he wouldn't be out of
3
place. He wouldn't be out of place in it.
No, I don't really care.
I don't know.
On the game, one more thing for the game.
Oh,
Trossard, yeah. Just last thing for me on the game itself, guys. But one thing that was really noticeable watching Liverpool play today was how slow we still moved the ball. We moved the ball so slow. Liverpool, by the way, defensively are not great. Yeah, Wolves could have scored a few more goals today. So Liverpool aren't the complete team. But when they have the ball, they just move the ball so much faster than we do. It's really depressing watching us on the ball and our build-up play is just like, it's so pedestrian and so just lethargic. And it's like, guys, just 1-2 touch max. Get it, pass it, get it, move. It's really slow. And like I said, watching Liverpool today, I'm just like, oh man, they move the ball, man. They get from front to back really quickly. Anyway, that's not something I've noticed all season with us. Really, it's been an issue for us. But
do you think it's intentional, Jordan?
I do,
Yeah,
I do, which makes it worse.
Yeah, no, I think there's a great discussion. I think it was on the different knock. They were talking about. Do you remember when Jamie Carragher accused us of going wide too much? Basically saying like we attack the channels more than any other team. And the school of thought, I think Alex mentioned it and maybe others, was that, well, no, the reason Arsenal do that is because if when you lose possession, it's much easier to winning it back against teams in wider areas where they're up against the touchline, there's less space for them to go. So it's all about basically looking ahead to the kind of the next defensive phase. And I just wonder whether there's something about that with Arsenal. The slower you move the ball, the more control you have of what might happen if you lose it. I feel like we do everything with this kind of like fear of what if we lose the ball? Well, what if we get countered on? Well, what if? And that's kind of been true. Look at the centre backs at fullback. Look at the way we position our centre backs, like very kind of tucked in. Or sorry, I say our fullbacks very tucked in. We don't feel like we really. How often do our front three kind of really move around and interchange positions? They don't. It's all. A lot of it is very structured because I think the school of thought is we'll win enough games 1 or 2-0, or 2-1, 3-1. I think they're just very worried about what goes the other way, especially away from home. Listen, I don't say I like it. I just wonder if that's the reason. It's all just a bit pragmatic.
Did you notice yesterday, a lot of times there was a lot of one-on-one situations, Vardy versus Saliba. They left Arsenal left a one-on-one on quite a few occasions yesterday. Very brave. Very brave, like to do that. So I don't know. I don't know if they do that. I just think that we weren't slow in that last 20 minutes though. It was exciting stuff.
We had to score.
Yeah. So I do think there is that game of chess with Mikel. He does like that, doesn't he? So very, very. You can see we're a well-drilled coach side. Everybody knows exactly what they've got to do.
Yeah, that's the foundation now. A very, structured, well-built side.
Mm.
you know, our base level now is light years away from what we was 5 years ago. That's why sometimes people misconstrue the frustration now to what it was then. It's very different. James mentioned earlier how crazy the season was. I also say how sad the season is, because we're a good team. We've got quality players. We have had bad luck. It has been poor squad management. City have fallen off, and here we are still, second. And like Lee said, we have opposition fans singing second again, ole ole. So, until we, and then Leicester got nothing to do with us. It's not like they're a rival that wanted to get one over, or it's just the way it is. Everyone else is watching us finish second as well. We've got to get over the line. But West Ham next. Do we do anything different to how? Well, apart from Merino stepping in for Sterling. Does anyone do anything different with the midfield? Willie. Will Merino start the game?
I think he's going to give. No, I think he's going to give Sterling one more go.
Nah, can't.
If he does, I think he'll only do it. Oh no, actually, the Chelsea game is it's not for a while, is it? I was going to say that I thought the Chelsea game was after. He might try and get Sterling, squeeze everything out of him now, because he knows that for the Chelsea game he hasn't got him, but that's not for another couple of weeks anyway. I think Sterling's been that bad. I think he's played his way out of the team. I don't understand why you play him. Why
can you drop Merino after 2 goals? Like, you can't.
The team was such a dramatic change when he came on.
You can't.
Even if he didn't score. Even if he didn't score, I'd still start him.
Trossard looked better. Trossard, it's not only like him. If Trossard in that position there was like fish out of water, wasn't he? Like, he really was. I thought he was poor. I mean, what did he do? And then when he went out wide, he was like electric. So you've got to look at that as well, And I felt that Rice and Odegaard were better because they've got someone to wall pass onto. I just think sometimes I don't know if you like people having a go at party and not midfield. Like, sometimes we was looking up in midfield. They haven't got the option of that pass, so they're looking at it, then they're cutting back, then they're losing it, and people go, "Oh, why is he losing it? Hold on to the ball." We ain't got the option. When Merino come on, there was the option to just play it up to him and get the layoff back. I thought, no, I'm sorry, if Merino ain't playing in that game, I'll be very, very surprised. I
definitely think the midfield are feeling like they have to do more. That first half against Leicester, Odegaard and Rice looked so frustrated because I think they were just really feeling like almost they've got to give that front three the perfect pass. It felt like they were saying, "I will walk this to the goal line for you." And to be fair, we never even played that kind of football. We weren't that good on the day. We never got that close to Leicester's goal in the first half. But Odegaard trying little dinks, over the top to Trossard. It was almost like there was just a lack of trust in that front three until Merino came on, and the ball was lumped up to him, and we said, "Listen, can you control this, please?" And lo and behold, then he did, and everyone I think started to believe, "Oh, okay, we can play off this guy." And I don't know, it was really weird that first. I didn't think the front three would look that bad. I thought Sterling would be not good but fine. I thought Trossard would look good in the false nine because he has before, and Nwaneri would cook. Oh my god, I was so disappointed. Yeah, 2 out of 3 of them. And Odegaard wasn't great, but he got better.
No, he wasn't good.
He ended the game well, but for 60 minutes he was a shambles as well.
He needs to stop collecting the ball from defense. Why do we tell him? But why? Then what's the point in Partey? Just put Rice there to destroy it and forget Partey then, who's been our best midfielder this season. But why have you got a mobile midfielder like Partey, who one of his best attributes being how he receives the ball, how he can go on both feet? He is there to receive the ball from the defenders. And then Odegaard does that. Odegaard will collect the ball from the defenders, play it into someone like a Rice, and then he'll hold off. So as much as he's, you might argue he's trying to get the ball and try and help the attack, he's not helping them by not being there. They need that body a bit more closer to them. That chance Nwaneri had when, we won it back, Rice into Odegaard, he was in his position and he had space. He could turn a couple touches forward into Nwaneri. I need to see more of that. Forget the whole, because sometimes he just runs all the way back 40 yards. He'll collect the ball one touch, he'll pass it off another touch, and then you're 50 yards off where you should be. And it's not like he's someone that's gonna he doesn't really pass. He pass moves that's just football 101 now. But it's not like anytime he passes into someone, he more holds back than he does try and create a pocket of space by getting into it and receiving it. And I
Turkish, I
think
couldn't
that
agree
costs him a
more.
lot of creativity problems as well. Like, it is frustrating because he is a better player than he's shown throughout the season, and I'm just seeing the same old. That's part of hiding for me, collecting the ball from the centre backs and the keeper just to pass it off 5 yards to someone, and then you're out of position 30, 40 yards. Come on, man, stop all that.
He does a lot of look, I'm not here to rip into Erdegaard. I love the guy, but I actually agree with you. He does this thing. He looks really lively and bouncy on the ball, but without kind of doing a lot. And it annoys me because sometimes I'm like, let's settle it down. Let's almost let the defense or whoever's stepping on to press you think that you've just calmed it down for a sec. Like Jack Wilshere was the master of this. Like, he'd have this ability to just burst. Like, there'd be a 1-2, and like he'd use someone as a wall pass, as you mentioned with Merino, bounce off a bam, bam. He was in. He used it. He did it really well with Giroud. I was watching this game, going, Erdegaard, the ball over this chip pass isn't really working. But you got Trossard. He's a technical player. Is there a 1-2 in there? Rosicky, Hleb, Jack Wilshere, these players did it all the time. They weren't blessed with like tremendous pace, but they had skill, and they had just a willingness to just run through brick walls. They'd see 5 defenders and go, cool, if you flick it through that gap, I'm there. And Erdegaard, it feels like he always wants to play the final pass. And I'm always, when he gets in around the penalty area, I mean, and sometimes I'm thinking, have you ever played a pass thinking that you're going to get on to the next one after that? Yeah, I'm going to give you this, but I fucking want it back, Leandro, or whoever. And I don't know if he ever does enough of that. And I don't know. There's something about him that's quite like, he looks busy, but then I actually need him to be more busy when he is on the ball than he looks. But also at times, just calm it down. I know I'm contradicting myself, so I don't know if you guys know what I'm even trying to say.
It's a mix.
It is a mix. I think I just want variety to his play. I think at the moment it's all very much
stale right now.
The same kind of stuff.
He looks to drop off at times to try and, like, if there's somebody picking him up, not to go into that area. So then when he comes back into the play, he hasn't got that man picking up. But 9 times out of 10, they're quite clever enough, these defenders, to go, oh, I'll wait for you. I ain't going to go in there, but I'll wait for you when you come back. You know, I don't really know why he's doing that. I agree with you on that, like, you know. But he was poor first half again.
He doesn't move quick enough off the ball. On the ball, he looks like he's, just new Duracell batteries, and he's off. Like, he's always twisting, turning, dropping a shoulder, shimmying. Off the ball, he's quite. He just slows down. He more wants to be behind the ball, observing things, than pass smooth. He actually done it once in the Champions League where I asked. It was a 1-2 in the box. I think it was Havertz, and then he should have stroked it into the bottom corner, but he tried to drill it and it got blocked. But that's refreshing. Like, follow your pass at times,
Yeah,
and he doesn't do that a lot. He just passes it in, and he's just looking, and because he's more worried about behind him, and it's just
He did pick up second half. I'll have to say that he did pick up.
Yeah, he did, absolutely did. I love what he did for the second goal. He took the ball, he rode a few challenges,
he
kept driving into the right space because he could see the picture. You could see, I just need that extra yard to fizz it into Calafiori.
Yeah.
Do that on the edge of the penalty area, ride challenges to make that extra space, because maybe that pass into Calafiori slightly further up the pitch is actually putting someone through on goal. I don't know. He's not quite at it the moment, Martin. But I have no doubt that whatever version of Arsenal wins trophies in the future, Erdegaard will be in that midfield. I just think he needs another creative type to complement him. I think he's the left 8. I think that's his role. I think that's his position.
Never been really tested there enough though. Sporadically only. But yeah, all right. West Ham. 3 of us, I say Merino will start. James is probably leaning towards another Sterling chance given. Let us know in the comment section. See what you're thinking. Not what you're hoping, what you're thinking. Remember. But let me get the table up. James has got a correct score.
What?
Whilst he was
What's going on here then? Huh?
I had a lot of time to think about this one. I was very ill, and I really thought about it. And I was waiting for the text from Turkish saying score prediction. And then when it came through, I went, yeah, I know exactly what it's going to be. And I sent it through.
Okay. He takes control at the top by goal difference. or correct scores.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you even level, Jordan. That's but I've got 8 correct scores, and you actually level on points.
Don't hit the player, hit the game, bro.
He's
Well, it's
kept
my
it
8
tickling,
correct
so-
scores. It's better to do it my way. Yeah, it's my 8 correct scores that's got me top. But bloody hell, don't even know how you're in a race.
I'm thinking the same in my app. I've got 3 correct scores. I'm somehow below elite by 115 charges. So that's what happens. That's what happens, and yeah, the people are against you. But audio listeners, James is top 38 points, 8 correct scores. Jordan's got 38, but 6 correct scores. Lee's got 2 correct scores, 28 points, 10 off the top. And I'm on 26 points, 12 off the top, 2 off Lee with 3 correct scores. Make that make sense, people. Let's go into some predictions for West Ham at the Emirates this weekend. James.
2-0 again.
2-0 again. Jordan.
1-0.
1-0. Again? No, you went 2-1 last time.
I went
Lee.
3-0.
2-0, 1-0, 3-0. 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal. 2-1. 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal.
Are we concerned about this game, lads?
Concerned about every game.
Yeah.
Every game. Hold on. Am I concerned about this game? My choice is Raheem Sterling or Mikel Merino for the front 3. I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Come on.
Are you, Jordan?
Yeah. Well, West Ham ain't great, and apart from Bowen, I think they're I know they got their guys back. Sonny Antonio's out. Yeah, West Ham aren't great, and we're at home. It's a game that, you know, famous saying, if you're going for titles, these are games you're supposed to pick up 3 points in. But my only fear is that West Ham are kind of like that middle bracket team that cause us problems. The bottom teams, I think we're fine against. The top teams, we're generally fine against. It's those mid-table teams that seem to spoil our party that I'm worried about. And yeah, our front 3, whether you go Sterling, as you say, James, or Merino, it's not a great front 3. Do you know what I mean?
Psychology is fascinating, Jordan, right? Because the minute transfer deadline day ended, I was furious, absolutely furious with the options we had. I'm sat here going, if only we had Martinelli and Havertz, I think we could be all right. Like, it's just, oh my God.
I'm telling you, we're going
longing
down
for those 2 to be available.
We're getting to that stage, like a new signing stage. This is what this club does to you. Yeah. These men will come in like new signings, and they might even give them new shirt numbers to go along with the feeling of a new signing, just to give you the whole experience without the full experience. But don't let the club start that. New merch out as well, people, if you didn't know, if you didn't get the notification. Yeah. What's that, the 4th drop of the year? 17th of Feb?
4th? 16th.
Shocking.
16th drop of the year, 17th of Feb.
Shocking.
Look at Lee's face.
I have ordered my extra large, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna say that.
Popping to the shop.
Listen, get out there and get it. It ain't gonna do anything. It ain't gonna stop anybody different, is it? Like, get out there and get your merch. Nothing wrong with it.
Ah, so
we all know why he's saying this now.
The Kroenke payments dropped then, Lee, has it? Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
They paid him on Valentine's Day.
Get your merch.
You disgrace. You disgrace. You're a disgrace, Lee.
Sickening.
You're a disgrace.
Sickening. I just know he's going to try that on after this show.
Listen, it was bought for me. Like,
Bought for you when he said, "I want that one, please."
I didn't have a clue. And
who bought it for you?
See, it's fans like you, Lee. You're the problem, Lee. It's fans like you.
Nice,
you. Yeah, it's very nice. And she bought it for you. She says, "Don't you like it?" I said, "I don't know if I can wear it."
I don't know if you can either, mate.
Embarrassing.
I know.
Michelle's too good for you, man. Michelle's too good to you. You send her to the bathroom with an iPad, and you get merchandise gifts.
Yeah, I think she wants me killed.
Yeah, actually, she's playing 4D chess.
Yeah,
that's a good move.
He thinks this is a gift, but actually, this is going to be the end of him.
Yes, I'll teach him. Like,
Get him wrapped up at one of the games. All right, comment of the day. You all good? You all got one?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
one.
All right.
Gosh,
well, my
I'll
one's on-
jump in. Oh, go
Go
on.
on.
You go.
I'll go.
Shall I go
Damien. I'll
Go
go
on.
first, don't worry.
Go on then.
Yeah, as the host, I should let others, but fuck it. Putting my foot down tonight.
No, you just do what you want. Don't you? Go on.
Ain't got fucking
Fuck it,
time to
I'll put
deliberate.
my
You
foot
wanna go
down.
to me, to you, to me, to you? Fuck that. I'm going, man.
Way too
Damien,
British.
Damien Hilliard. He said, "Believe, boys, Sterling is gonna save us. Football's a funny old game, isn't it funny?"
That went well. No.
Hello, Damien. I'm still believing, mate. Raheem,
Maybe he
the
meant
dream.
next week. Put it in again, Damien. Maybe he meant West Ham.
Do it
It's
every
happening.
week. Put that in every week.
All right, question. If Raheem Sterling continues to play like this for the rest of his time at Arsenal, he's this bad, but he has to play because we've got no players. And on the final day, he scores the winning goal that wins us the title. Is he an Arsenal legend?
No, not legend, but yeah, I mean, it's just mad. That's mad. That is mad.
Right.
Not a legend, but that is mad.
It only takes a moment. It only takes a moment. Champions League final, we've never won it. He comes on, scores the winning goal. He's been
Nah, man,
awful.
not a legend.
Ross.
He would be, but it'd be one of those. What do they call them when they're like that? Like,
Cult hero, icon.
yeah, cult hero.
Oh, yeah, you could say that. Give him
Yeah,
that.
in some sort of way. Yeah.
What are we dreaming about? What the fuck is your comment of the day? Dreaming about Sterling? What the hell?
I want to know how long can it be this bad to the point where no one can recover it, and those two moments for me recover almost anything.
I think he'll find it very hard to recover from Saturday. I think, like, you know,
It's not long enough.
I see him walking. I see him walking down the M1. I didn't even get on the coach.
Yeah,
just need
What
to-
was the joke? No one was giving him a lift home. They just driving past him.
Raheem's going to win us the Champions League. I can feel it in my bones.
All right,
Definitely still ill, man.
Come on.
You've got a new type of disease, bro. I don't even want this. This is COVID.
but Turkish.
Bro.
But Turkish, how funny would it be if it did happen? If it did happen,
you know what? Pre-season's on me, James. If it does happen,
Yes.
I'll go next. Before I read my comment out, I've got a few shout outs, right? So I don't know what it is, but every London Underground steward, train driver, bus driver seems to support Arsenal. They always stop me and say they love the show, they love the podcast. Big up to one guy, I forgot his name, forgive me. Had a good chat with him about Arsenal. Shut up. At King's Cross Station the other day. So big him up. Also, big up, shut up, Lee. Big up all the people at Brixton Base. I went to a drum and bass night on Saturday, and there was bare people in there that were like, "Yeah, love the pod." Big fans of the podcast. So I'll tell all the people at Brixton Base on Saturday, and the guy in the queue that I was queuing with. He had a good old chat as well. My comment, shut up, Lee. My comment is
this guy thinks it's radio. That's why he does this.
no.
Well, you write down their names on a
You know,
bit
on
of
the radio,
paper,
they get the
saying,
message.
You know what, Lee?
Shout out
You know what,
to Jack.
Lee?
He was working on the building site this weekend. Shout out to James. He was just off ill this weekend. Big him up. Right, what do you think this is, bro? We need a fucking shout out section after the comments of the day, and everyone just leaves, and then it's just Jay.
And that one guy on the bus. Yeah, that guy on the bus.
Yeah, the
Got
guy.
his name, big him up.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forget his name, but yeah, he'll come to me tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what, Lee? I actually asked them as well for their names. I don't know why I asked them anymore because I always forget.
People, stop asking this guy to shout you out. He just shouts at the moment, not even your name. He just said King's Cross. I met someone. He could have met 7 people in King's Cross.
There was a guy at Ipswich that did mention it to me. Ipswich, Leicester, that said to me yesterday, "I love the podcast." I did ask him his name, but
You see.
You know what I mean? So that guy in Leicester, I know you're watching. I'm sorry I forgot you. I've done a Jordan. Sorry about that.
Everywhere I go, people stop me. They're like, "Yeah, love the pod, love the pod." So I've just, I've got a bad memory. What can I say?
You just want us to know that you're like super active, super great social life.
No, not
busy.
even.
Yeah.
James, honestly, people love the pod, and I'm one of the people. I'm on the tube, I'm on the bus, I'm in Sainsbury's, I'm outside. So I'm just saying, people, they stop me. Oh, you're big up Turkish, big up James, big up Lee. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Just pass on the love. Pass on the love. Anyway, my comment, and I've not got the name here either, but allow me. Just at the start of the pod, I just started mimicking Turkish's intro. How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the podcast. Big love for the pod. Watching on the way from Ghana. Never missed a single pod. Love for the love, guys. Big heart. Big up Ghana. Big up that texter as well. That commenter as well. All the love.
Would you have his name? Did you say his name?
I ain't got his name, sorry, but he's from Ghana. Someone in Ghana likes us, Big up Ghana.
He's from Ghana. That narrows it down.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's me. It was me. No, I think I've excelled myself today and got the best comment.
Excellent.
Well, then we'll leave it till last. I've got from Following Music. James took this news the hardest. Get well soon. That must have been regarding the Havertz injury. And then from Sam Seger, James is like that player you don't really rate, would never buy a shirt, but you realise how important they are when they're missing. I don't think that's a compliment. Thank you.
You know what, James? I was going to read that, but I thought it might come across as quite mean. But actually, it is a compliment. It's a compliment. It is a compliment.
You don't really rate him. You'd never buy a shirt. Yeah, you think he's a bit shit. Just a squad player.
I think they're scandalous.
He's all right.
That's a compliment.
So thank you. Appreciate that my value went up.
Kind of.
There we go. Forever Arsenal's podcast.
It went down then up.
Forever Arsenal's podcast doing its best impression of the Arsenal. James gets ill and they're unable to get a sign in time for the pod.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, get well soon, James. Love the pod.
Thank you very much. So what are we saying? That Turkish is Josh Kroenke?
No, I'm not, because I'll tell the people straight. I didn't care about a replacement. I said, fuck it.
This is honest.
How Josh Kroenke is that? Tell me. Does that sound like Josh to you?
Well, I think that actually is how he thinks, only he lies.
He wouldn't say it. He wouldn't say it live. Not on YouTube, mate.
What he actually said was, when there's no one positive, we can get on here.
No, because let's be honest. Someone said, should we get Dan Potts? And I said, to be honest with you, it's going to
say what we're saying.
And Dan's going to join the moan, so there's going to be 4 moaners. So really, they might as well just leave 3 moaners on the pod. That's what I said. It makes sense. It makes sense.
It did make sense. It did make absolute sense.
And we moaned.
We was all a bit down. We
did moan. We did moan a lot. Yeah.
I'm glad I missed this.
Did you guys see the essay that was in the comments as well? Someone left a message that was literally like 14 paragraphs long.
No.
I was going to read it just for bands, but what
did it say? Long. What was it? What was the gist of it?
Oh, hang on. Let me try and find it.
No. Just tell me the gist. I don't care like that.
Honestly, I read the first line and then it was like,
this guy put 14 paragraphs in. That's how I don't care.
It's titled Unpopular Opinion from Patrick. Oh God. Patrick Tengbe. Unpopular opinion. The common belief among Arsenal fans that the Kroenkes have not backed Arteta and Edu financially can no longer hold weight for me, especially when we have broken both of our and the EPL transfer records within the last couple of seasons. Mikel Arteta, Edu, or whoever was responsible for transfers at Arsenal over the last 3 seasons is to blame for the current crisis we have. The problem we have recruited poorly and failed to pursue our transfers at Arsenal over the last 3 seasons. While significant investments have been made, the squad remains unbalanced year after year, and critical areas have been recklessly neglected. First of all, this is where it starts. First of all, we are stacked with left backs and defensive midfielders, while we blatantly ignore the need for creative midfielders, a winger, and a prolific number 9 to score loads of goals. Not the 4th goal in a game which we score 5. Haaland scores goals that give Man City crucial points. The same with Salah for Liverpool. Odegaard is the primary orchestrator in our midfield. His absence due to injury at the beginning of the season exposed our lack of alternative creative outlets. Odegaard is the primary orchestra, yada, 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 yada. Honestly, it goes on for ages. So, sorry.
Basically Kroenke prop.
Basically, yeah. But big up Patrick. There's effort.
Don't big up.
There's effort. Putting in the time there, like, yeah.
Waste
This
of time.
path.
Waste of time. Not that he's wrong with some of the points, but when
Yeah, I heard some points that I agreed with.
I was about to lock it off when I had the Kroenke prop. It's always on them. Yeah,
I
don't
thought you
ever
were gonna
forget.
lock it off.
It's always on them. Jordan, big up. Lee, big up. James, community, love for the love. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Individual channels, you know what it is already. Turkish LDN Universe, Lee Judges TV, Whisper It Loudly. Find it all on YouTube, people. There are no links in the description. Just search it up. We will be back when we're back. I believe the next one will be Sunday. So maybe Sunday night, Monday morning. Oh, there's a little break now. Yeah. Sad. It is what it is.